The world outside was still half asleep when Maya Bennett pushed her squeaky cleaning cart across the polished marble floor of Atlantic Plaza's 23rd floor. The wall clock blinked 6:43 a.m. in cold red digits. A few fluorescent lights flickered overhead, making her reflection on the glass panels look tired, older than 32. Her uniform felt heavier today, the weight of exhaustion settling deep into her bones. She took a slow breath, clutching the master key with trembling fingers. It wasn't the morning chill that made her shake. It was a kind of fear that never truly left people who lived paycheck to paycheck, the kind that whispered every day, one bad week, and you lose everything. Just get through another day, she murmured to herself. Rent was due in 4 days. Her daughter Ella's 12th birthday was 2 weeks away, and Maya had only $300 saved. Barely enough for a cake, let alone a celebration. Her old 2004 Toyota Corolla groaned in the parking lot below, threatening to die any day now. Life, for her, always felt like walking across thin ice. Each step a silent prayer that nothing cracked beneath her. She stopped in front of a glass door engraved with gold letters. Richard Vaughn, CEO, Vaughn Development Group. The man behind that name was a mystery to her. Always moving, always commanding. A tailored suit, a sharper voice, a presence that made rooms hold their breath. Men like him didn't notice people like her. To them, janitors and cleaners were part of the background noise. Invisible, replaceable, forgettable. And maybe, Maya thought, invisibility was safer. The unseen couldn't be hurt. She unlocked the office door and slipped inside. The air smelled faintly of mahogany wood, leather, and expensive cologne. Everything was neatly arranged, the perfection of someone who controlled chaos for a living. Maya began her routine, emptying bins, wiping desks, polishing glass, aligning chairs with mathematical precision. Her mind drifted Ella's school note about overdue supplies. The guilt pressed like a stone against her ribs. How many more times would she have to tell her daughter next month? Then something unusual caught her eye. A thick folder lay open on the CEO's desk, its pages scattered like leaves after a storm. On the first line, bold letters screamed, "Declaration of Bankruptcy." Her breath hitched. She glanced at the clock, 6:55 a.m. No one would be in before 8. She knew she shouldn't look. It wasn't her business. But her curiosity, and a lifetime of surviving through attention to detail, made her pause. The next line read, total consolidated debt, $64 million. Maya frowned. Years of handling cleaning invoices, counting every penny and budgeting survival had given her a sharp instinct for numbers. Something about those figures felt wrong. She began adding the amounts silently. 12 million, 8 million, 15, 6. Her lips moved faster, her heart faster still. She did it again, then a third time. 47 million, not 64. Her pulse spiked. Someone had added 17 million. That didn't exist. This wasn't a typo. It was a setup. Someone was making it look like Vaughn Development owed more than it did, forcing Richard Vaughn into bankruptcy. Her father's voice, faded but unforgettable, echoed from memory. If someone had told me the numbers were wrong, I could have fought back. He'd lost everything years ago to accounting fraud. The betrayal had killed him slowly, leaving behind only his lessons and her fear. Maya swallowed hard. She could walk away, pretend she saw nothing. But another voice, quieter, braver, rose in her chest. Do something. Her cracked phone trembled in her hand as she snapped quick photos of each page. Then she tore a small yellow post-it from the CEO's desk and scribbled, her handwriting uneven from nerves. Mr. Vaughn, please check the numbers on page 7 before signing. The total adds up to $47 million, not $64. Someone inflated the figures. Please verify before it's too late. A friend. She stuck it to the top page, straightened every paper to look untouched, and slipped out of the office. At 7:45, she clocked out in the basement. She should have gone home, but her legs wouldn't move. Her heart pounded loud enough to echo in the parking garage. 7:56. A sleek black Mercedes rolled into the dim light. Richard Vaughn stepped out. Not the commanding CEO she glimpsed before, but a man hollowed by exhaustion. His suit rumpled, his eyes red, his shoulders hunched under invisible weight. He walked toward the elevator, like someone headed to his own execution. Maya hid behind a column, torn between fear and curiosity. Just go home, she told herself. But she couldn't. She had to know. Had he seen the note? 8 o'clock, 8:05, 8:10. Her phone buzzed. An unknown number. Miss Bennett? A low, strained voice asked. She froze. Yes. This is Richard Vaughn. Are you still in the building? Her throat went dry. I am. Don't leave, he said, urgency breaking through the calm. Please, I need to speak with you. Now. The line went dead. Footsteps echoed down the ramp, quick, uneven. When he appeared, Maya's body locked in place. The man who approached wasn't angry. He was undone. Tears shimmered in his eyes. In one trembling hand, he held the post-it note. Was it you? His voice cracked. You wrote this? She nodded slowly, bracing herself for him to fire her, to call security, to humiliate her. Instead, the unthinkable happened. The billionaire dropped to his knees on the cold concrete floor in a $5,000 suit and began to sob. You just saved my life, he choked out. You saved everything. Maya stood frozen, stunned. She had never seen a powerful man cry like that. He wiped his face, trying to steady his voice. 17 million fake debts. My partner, Austin Monroe, forged them. He wanted me to sign these papers so he could buy the company for pennies. I was about to lose everything. Maya's eyes widened. I checked security logs, he said. Only one person accessed this floor before 8 a.m., you. A single mother, no reason to help me. No demand for money. Why did you do it? She hesitated, voice trembling. My father lost everything once because of bad numbers. No one warned him. I couldn't let that happen again. Something shifted in Richard's expression. Respect, humanity, gratitude. Come with me, he said suddenly. Austin will be here in 10 minutes. I'm going to confront him, and I want you there as a witness. You saw the real documents. She hesitated. Every instinct screamed run. But she thought of Ella, of birthdays missed, of the endless survival, and she took his outstretched hand. The elevator ride felt endless. In the mirrored walls, she saw two reflections, the billionaire and the cleaner, both trembling, both about to change their lives. Whatever happens, he told her, don't be afraid. Just tell the truth. When the door slid open, the morning sun spilled across the 23rd floor. The air was thick with the hum of fate. 8:27 a.m. The intercom buzzed. Mr. Vaughn, Mr. Monroe is here. Richard looked at Maya. It's time. The office door opened with a soft click, and Austin Monroe entered. His confidence filled the room before his words did. Every step he took was deliberate, measured, calculated, the kind of walk that belonged to men who never imagined they could lose. His silver hair was slicked back, his charcoal suit flawless, and his smirk polished to perfection. Rick, he said smoothly, feigning surprise. Didn't expect an audience. His eyes flicked toward Maya, lingering just long enough to convey disdain. Bringing in the cleaning staff for executive meetings? That's progressive. Richard didn't flinch. Sit down. The words were quiet, but the air around them shifted. Tighter, heavier. Austin arched an eyebrow, then eased into chair across from the CEO's desk. You look terrible, my friend. Long night. Richard leaned forward, hands clasped together on the table. The longest. Austin chuckled. Once you sign those papers, you'll finally be free. Think of it. No more pressure, no more late nights. I'm doing you a favor. Richard's eyes hardened. Free, he repeated softly, or stripped of everything I built. Austin's smile faltered, just for a second. Richard reached for the folder on the desk, the same one Maya had touched hours earlier, and set it between them. Funny, he said, because this lifeline you're offering has $17 million in debts that don't exist. The color drained slightly from Austin's face. What are you talking about? You tell me. Richard slid the yellow post-it note toward him. The tiny square looked harmless, But Maya knew it was a bomb waiting to explode. Austin stared at it, reading every line. When he looked up again, his voice was smooth, but his jaw was tight. Someone's playing games. You're letting a janitor's prank derail a legal process. Maya flinched. The way he said the word janitor burned like acid. She's not a janitor, Richard snapped. She's a reason you're not already in handcuffs. Austin laughed, cold, sharp. You've lost it. You can't take her word over mine. 15 years, Rick. We built this company together. Richard's voice dropped to a near whisper. And in those 15 years, you learned exactly how to hide fraud deep enough to destroy me. But she found it in one morning. Austin turned his sneer toward Maya. You think you understand corporate finance because you mop floors? Stay in your lane. Maya's hands shook, but she didn't look away. Numbers don't lie, she said quietly. Only people do. Something flickered in Richard's expression, a mix of pride and fury. Show him. Her fingers trembled as she plugged her phone into the conference screen. The images appeared one by one. The original documents, the real totals, the falsified ones. Richard stood as he spoke, his tone steady, each word a strike. 47 million in real debt, 64 million on your version, 17 million unaccounted for. Care to explain? Austin's jaw flexed. Clerical error. 17 million is one hell of a typo, Richard said, leaning closer, especially when every file modification leads back to your account. Austin's mask slipped just for an instant. You can't prove anything. Oh, I can. Richard opened a drawer and pulled out a thick envelope. Julie Baxter kept your emails, the ones you thought she deleted when she quit, the ones between you and Franklin Rogers at Consolidated Supply. I know about the fake creditors, the inflated invoices, the kickbacks waiting for you once I signed those papers. The room went deathly still. Austin's eyes darted toward the door, toward Maya, then back to Richard. His breath came faster, the mask crumbling. You think this ends with me? You drag this into court, the company burns with me. Investors will flee. You'll lose everything. Richard rose slowly. Then we'll rebuild from the ashes. But you, Austin, you're finished. He nodded toward the door. The FBI is already on their way. Call your lawyer. Austin stood abruptly, rage twisting his face. You think this woman will save you? In 6 months, she'll be back on her knees scrubbing floors while you forget her name. Get out, Richard said sharply. Austin hesitated, then stormed toward the door, slamming it hard enough to rattle the glass walls. The silence that followed was deafening. Richard stood there for a long moment, staring out over the city skyline. When he finally turned back, the weight in his shoulders seemed lighter, like a man breathing freely for the first time in years. He was right about one thing, he said quietly. I didn't see you before today. You worked here 3 years, and I never even knew your name. Maya looked down. That's just how the world works, sir. No, he said firmly. That's how I work, blind. He walked to his desk, pulled a notepad, and scribbled something down. You saved $60 million because you noticed what others ignored. That's more valuable than any degree in this building. He tore the page free and handed it to her. Starting Monday, you'll report to the Internal Audit Department. I'll pay for your training, your certification, whatever you need. I want you looking for the things the rest of us miss. Maya blinked, her lips parting. I don't understand. I'm just a cleaner. Richard smiled softly. Not anymore. You're my new junior analyst. Her knees nearly gave out. I can't accept this. It's too much. It's not a favor, he said. It's justice. For the first time, she saw him not as a billionaire, but as a man who'd been reminded what integrity looked like. Go home, he said gently. See your daughter. Take the rest of the week off. Then come back ready to start your new life. When she finally stepped outside, sunlight spilled to the glass atrium, warm against her face. The same world waited beyond those doors, but she no longer walked through it as a ghost. That night, driving home in her sputtering Corolla, Maya didn't care about the rattles or the noise. She kept replaying every moment. The note, the confrontation, the promise. When she pulled up outside her small apartment, she could already see Ella's shadow in the window waiting. "Mom," Ella shouted, throwing her arms around her. "You're home late. What happened?" Maya knelt, holding her daughter tight. "Something big, baby," she whispered. "Something that might change everything." That evening, as she told Ella the story, the mistake that saved the company, the man who offered her a second chance, the little girl's eyes sparkled. "You mean you're going to work in an office now? With a computer?" Maya laughed through her tears. "Yes, sweetheart, with a computer." "You're amazing, Mom," Ella said, hugging her tighter. And for the first time in years, Maya believed it. 3 months later, the Chicago skyline shimmered with the chill of early winter. Maya Bennett stepped off the bus in front of On Development Group, no longer through the side entrance for staff, but through the main lobby. Her new badge opened the glass doors automatically. "Morning, Maya," the receptionist called warmly. Every day, she still touched the metal plate on her desk, Maya Bennett, junior audit analyst, to remind herself this wasn't a dream. The first few weeks had been terrifying. She stayed up late watching finance tutorials, scribbling formulas while Ella slept. But slowly, the numbers began to make sense again. Her instincts, once used for survival, became her greatest strength. Not everyone welcomed her. Some senior analysts whispered janitor miracle behind her back, but she ignored them until the day Roger Maddox, one of the senior auditors, dropped a thick file on her desk. "Let's see if you're really as good as they say." Hours later, Maya handed it back with calm certainty. 7 discrepancies. For serious. He smirked, until she listed them one by one. Duplicate expenses, fake trips, falsified invoices. By evening, security escorted him out. Clara Freeman, her mentor, hugged her. "You saved us again." That night, Richard called her in. "You've done more in 3 months than most do in 10 years, he said, sliding a paper across the desk. "I want you to lead a new internal task force. Review everything from the last 2 years. Her eyes widened. The title read, Lead Auditor, $9,800 per month. Tears blurred her vision. "I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Richard smiled. "You see what others don't." 2 years later, Maya stood on stage at the University of Chicago. The auditorium was packed. Cameras flashed. 2 years ago, she began softly, I was invisible. I cleaned floors for people who didn't know I existed. Then one morning, I saw numbers that didn't make sense, and I left a note. She paused. I wasn't brave. I was terrified. But courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting anyway. Applause thundered. In the second row, Ella clapped with tears in her eyes. After the event, Richard joined her. Together, they announced the Vaughn Foundation for Integrity, a nonprofit protecting whistleblowers and funding education for underprivileged workers. And the director, Richard said proudly, is the woman who started it all, Maya Bennett. The crowd rose to its feet. Under her leadership, the foundation helped dozens of workers rebuild their lives. The media called her the Invisible Woman, who made the world see again. But for Maya, the real victory was simpler. Proof that honesty still mattered. One evening, sitting by the river with Ella, the girl asked, Do you ever think about how different life would be if you hadn't left that note? Maya smiled at the glittering skyline. Every day. But I'd rather live with fear than with regret. Ella leaned her head on her mother's shoulder. You're my hero, Mom. Maya whispered, No, sweetheart, I just stopped hiding. Outside, the city lights shimmered like promises. Her phone buzzed. A message from Richard. The foundation just hit its 1-year mark. 43 cases resolved. $12 million recovered. You did that. She smiled and typed back. We did that. As she and Ella walked home under Chicago lights, Maya knew her story had never just been about saving one company. It was about two people, both once invisible, who found the courage to believe again.